Hello, welcome back to Cove. I'm just going out here now on the Spike Island tour at 2 o'clock. It's now 25 to 2, so I'm looking forward to this trip. Hope it's good. See you all out there. This is inside the prison on Spike Island. Amazing. So this building here was the punishment building. Solitary confinement in here. The punishment block it was called. Dark in here, you probably can't see. Jesus Christ. Holy shit. Could you imagine being put into a cell this size with a small window like that there? Look. Look at the size of this. That'd be feeling claustrophobic. Wow. Dark, look how dark it is in here. So this cell here has no windows whatsoever. The tour guy was saying there was a man kept here for a long time, over a year, 2 years, I think it was 2 years, in this cell. Imagine having been locked up in here, in this solitary confinement cell with no windows in it. Would you just go off your rocker? You really would. So this is a good story here about one of the murderers. He murdered this woman called Maria Louise. In 1852, the painter William Walk, Kieran and his wife Maria Louise took a trip to Ireland's Eye, an island just off Hope, County Dublin. Later that day, Maria Louise was found dead in a rock pool. Kieran claimed his wife had wandered off while he was painting and drowned, but he was arrested and charged with her murder. He was found guilty and condemned to death, but his sentence was later commuted and he was sent to Spike Island to await transportation to Bermuda. Kieran was imprisoned in B Block, which is this place here. He spent his days pumping water from a well near number 3 Bastion. He was transported to Bermuda, and after assisting the medical staff during the yellow fever outbreak in 1857, he was recommended for release by the Bermuda authorities, but the recommendation was refused. In 1863, he was returned to Spike Island, where he laboured for a further 16 years. In 1879, he was finally released and is thought to have emigrated to America. Very interesting. Spike Island's artefacts. Look at the handcuffs. There's a key to a cell. There's a lock on a door with a key in it. This building here is the punishment block. Was built in response to the murder of Warder William Reddy in 1856. Opened in 1860, its first occupants were penal class prisoners, considered to the most dangerous on the island, heavily chained and clothed in black from head to toe, with a veil hiding all but their eyes. But they were soon joined by members of the invalid class of prisoners, many of whom suffered from mental illnesses. The punishment block also detained potential escapees, including Fenian prisoners in the 1860s and 1870s. Conditions inside the punishment block were the harshest in the prison. At first, cells were furnished with nothing more than a stool, and convicts slept on the floor. Eyewitnesses reports refer to the block's inmates often laughing or shouting hysterically for no particular reason. On the 15th September 1862, Thomas Morris hanged himself with a sheet from the bars of the window in cell 18, and there were several other suicide attempts. Now, wouldn't you go absolutely bonkers if you were kept in a place like this? You really would. You'd go demented. So prisoners were weighed when they arrived at the prison and again when they were discharged to ensure they had not lost excessive weight. For the first time, the welfare of prisoners was being considered. This demonstrated a major shift in penal policy from punishment to reform. So that's it. Reenactment of prisoners' coffin. Mad place to be. So all the paintings you see here in all these cells on the upper floor of the punishment block was all painted by prisoners themselves. Some great paintings here. That's nice. I like that. That's very, very good there. Very good. Ceramic artwork. Very good as well, look. Created by prisoners in the art class at Spike Island Prison. Wow. Ship going out. Tugboat at sea, it's called. I'm only in here, I'd say, 10 to 12 minutes and I want to get out. Imagine what it would have been like to be a prisoner here. I don't want to imagine, I just don't want to. Right, as you can see, there's a huge big green area here on Spike Island. Massive inside the prison complex on it, or the fort. And as I said, where I'm standing here now, you would never think that you were on an island in Cork Harbour, or Cove Harbour. And as you can see all around the outer perimeter of the prison is, they built up, they camouflaged it. So if you were on the sea looking towards the islands, you can't see this prison because they built clay up higher than the prison walls. So it's all contained within a lower, this is all a lower level here than outside of the prison, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I'll go over there. That's the A block, I think it was called. That's the one where there was a riot in 1985 and they burnt the building down. So we'll check that out after. So that's Eamon de Valera there. So during the First World War, Spike Island was the headquarters of the South Irish Coastal Defence. Following the handover of Spike Island to the Irish government in 1938, the island became an Irish Army base and was garrisoned by the Artillery Corps, Coast Defence Artillery. During the Second World War, or the emergency as it was known in neutral Ireland, and again in the 1970s, a military detention barracks operated within the fort. This housed soldiers that had been sentenced for military offences. The Irish Army maintained a presence on the island until 1979, when it was transferred to the control of the naval services and used for the training of naval recruits. In 1985, the Department of Defence passed control of Fort Mitchell to the Department of Justice, and a civilian prison was opened in the fort. The prison would eventually hold just over 100 prisoners, many of them young men from the inner cities who had been convicted of stealing cars. This prison closed in 2004, and in 2010 control of the island was handed over to Cork County Council. It's amazing all the different weaponry that's designed to kill people. They can say it's for defence, but just think about it, we put into big guns and fired into the air to kill people. Actually, the blood and blow people to smithereens. Anyway, so the Irish Army have been with the UN for years on peacekeeping missions. So there's the gun there that they use. Oh, I could do with a few plates at home. Nice design, aren't they? So that's a picture here of prisoners during the War of Independence. You see, the War of Independence was to do with one group of Irish people who wanted the whole 32 county republic. Today, all we have is 26 counties. The 6 counties in Northern Ireland are still regarded as British. So when Michael Collins went over to London to negotiate independence for Ireland, they came back with, in the agreement was 26 counties. And that's probably why he was eventually assassinated in the end. So there was a whole group of people in Ireland that were anti-treaty. They wanted the whole of Ireland or nothing at all. And it divided families, and there was people killed on both sides, in families as well, in the War of Independence. So that's that. Okay. So this is my third prison that I've been to. The first prison that I was ever in was Alcatraz in San Francisco Bay. And the second one is Kilmainham Jail in Dublin, where a lot of the 1916 people who wrote the Proclamation of Independence were executed, and that's out of the 3 that I've been to, including Spike Island here on Alcatraz in thing. To me, the best one of the whole lot to go and visit is Kilmainham Jail. But this here, as I said to you, it's the Irish version of Alcatraz, really. It's on Spike Island in Cork Harbour. You can't, when you look from Cove across, you can't see the prison because, as I said, it's camouflaged. So, yeah. Right, so there's obviously, I don't know whether that was an actual prison building or an administration building. The flanking galleries. The dry moat is one of the most impressive features of the fort and integral to its defence. Flanking galleries on each side of the bastions enable the defenders of the fort to fire on an enemy in the moat. There was no means of escape. It would have been a killing ground. Secure entrances called sally ports allowed the defenders to enter the moat from the fort and engage with the enemy. Yeah, so as I was saying there, you don't really see me here now at all, but because it's a bit dull in here. I was saying they'd fire on anybody escaping, but it was a fort. It was also a defensive fort first, I think. So any enemy that was coming in had to come in across, you know, that big wall here, then try and get into the fort. So you had, look, 4 machine gun positions down there. You have 4 machine guns down here. Anywhere around this fort was protected by firepower, if you know what I mean. So at the time, it would have been very, very hard to penetrate this fort. Very hard. I don't know if you can hear me here with the wind anyway. So this position here, Fort Mitchel, from here you can see the only entrance to Cork Harbour. The harbour was an important maritime centre for the British Empire, and it was vital to defend it for trade, military and naval purposes. From this strategic position, Fort Westmoreland maintained the safety of the harbour, although its guns were never fired in anger. The 4 guns that are now on number 3 bastion are the saluting battery for Cork Harbour. What was down here? Right. Maybe this was maybe this was a place where the people who were in control of the defensive positions stayed or something underground here, and then they'd walk up here. Look, maybe I'm probably wrong on this now. Here's a tunnel. Oh yeah, look. Wow. So you would have also had, I don't know what you would have had, machine guns or cannons here as well. Now you see outside, look. See the big bank of mound of clay and grass and stuff that was hiding the fort. Yeah, look. There must have been machine guns or something up on top of this here. Big heavy duty machine guns, or I don't know, some kind of cannon system maybe. Amazing. Right, so we have 2 tunnels in from here. Right. So this is, I think this is the A wing that was destroyed in a riot in 1985, August 1985, right? So they burnt it down. I could be completely wrong on this, but maybe the prisoners that were held here were Republican prisoners. Remember that there was still fighting going on up there in Northern Ireland. There was no peace process in the 80s. So I'm only thinking, but I could be totally wrong on that in saying that the prisoners who rioted and burned this down were Republican prisoners. But again, I could be wrong. So there it is, look at it, derelict now, burnt down. In memory of Captain Patrick White, Mealick Company IRA, County Clare, shot dead by a British soldier while a prisoner here on the 1st of June 1921. So I think that tour guide man at the start of the tour here to Spike Island said at one time there was 2,000 or 2,500 prisoners here. Crazy. Hey. Wow. So this is another one of these positions, you want to call it. Crazy, isn't it? Look. Oh, so this had a big gun, big cannon here. Wow. At one time. Jesus, still here. Look at this. Wow. Glad I came up here now. Wow. Holy shit. Jesus. Imagine being on the receiving end of this cannon here, or gun, if you want to call it. It's just pointing straight down the middle of the entrance into Cork Harbour here, or Cork Harbour. I want to see what the damage that this gun can do. It was a 6-inch gun. This breech loading, Mark 7 6-inch gun. It was manufactured in the UK. It was used both as a naval and land gun, and it was the main coast defence gun on Spike Island, with a maximum range of up to 12 miles. Holy shit. On July 1938, the Irish government gained control of the coastal forts in Cork Harbour, and the armaments were handed over to the Irish Defence Forces. The 6-inch gun was manned around the clock from 1939 during World War II. And in 1943, due to the risk of enemy bombardment, the Army Corps of Engineers constructed this new underground emplacement protected by concrete and relocated the gun to allow testing. It was fired from here just once by the Irish Army. This gun was never fired in anger. Wow. So that's it. Could fire 12 miles. Wow. Well, I'm happy I seen that. I think that's the highlight of my trip to Spike Island. This big gun facing straight out the entrance to the harbour here in Cork. You know, amazing. Yep, that was fascinating, I have to say, fascinating. Anyway, so originally it wasn't encased. See, originally it was exposed to the elements, to the weather and everything. But the Irish Army built all this. So realistically, you wouldn't even know it's here. You really wouldn't. Well camouflaged. Right, I better hurry up because I think your man said that boat is leaving for Cove at 5:30 and it's now 20 to 5, so I better go. You see the walls? Imagine trying to scale down walls. You wouldn't be able to, so you wouldn't. I forget whether he said that this block here was burnt down as well. I'm not too sure what he said. Anyway, it's in disrepair, as you can see. So now I'm going to go in here. I'm almost finished the tour now. Well, I'm almost finished my time here in Spike Islands. So I'm now going to go in and look at prison cells from 1985. Okay, where they had a proper sink and a proper toilet in them. So let's do that. Go in and have a look. Now,
the General Secretary of the Prison Officers Association, Mr. P.J. McAvoy, described the riot as utterly predictable and accused the Minister for Justice of playing politics with the lives of prison officers.
I'm amazed at the statement of Michael Nolan this evening when he says that the prisoners on Fort Mitchell were not going to injure prison staff. I think we had a unique situation today in the prison service where prisoners actually broke out, number one.
so that's an RTE News programme from 1985 concerning the riots here. I showed you there on A-Wing, right?
And it's really only for the love of God that major atrocity.
Look, this is stuff they use. Look, pictures.
Method of selecting prisoners for Fort Mitchell. Again,
Bringing in the army lads into it. The anti-riot platoon outside the main gate awaits instructions from the senior guard on duty in the fort. There's the prisoners up on top of the building. Look, top of the building. I think that's an A wing, and he burnt all that down. There's the guard at the time, the riots. That was the riot helmet. Look at them barricading the place in. The JCB rammed between the main gates looking in since the early hours of the riot. So there must be a JCB that he robbed on the island. Wow. Riot gear. Crazy. You certainly wouldn't get out there, would you? No, sorry, you would not. A better lit up room. You see, so this has come back now to... This has come back when I was in prison in 1985. Remember, they had a lot of joyriders were imprisoned here. Like people who, mainly young lads that stole people's cars and driving all over the city, and they put them down here on Spike Island as a punishment. So in 1985, now remember, the walls would have been painted better. See them all the paint flaking off the walls here. But you had like 1, 2, 3, 4 beds, and you had a television up here. They had a television, right? So there was the cable to the television, and they had a toilet. So that was your privacy was just that little door there, if you wanted to go to the toilet. And they also had a sink, and they had a mirror on the wall. So that's the size of the cell that you would have been in 1985 for 4 people. You see, so there were all 4 cells. There's the television on there from the 80s, the old televisions. Now what's in here? A prisoner's day in 1985 to 2004. Oh shit. Shit. I thought that was the real person there. Look. Someone's supposed to be asleep over there. Look, it's done very well, isn't it? Very, very well. And the TV again. And the same situation at the toilet and the sink. Another television over in that corner. How are you doing? Are you well? You shouldn't have been out robbing those cars and joyriding. You wouldn't have ended up in here. Right? See ya. So maybe this is where you came if you were visiting prisoners. I'm only just thinking now.
Dogs I'd never heard of him. Those Athenians, those had William Francis Roman.
Look, they've got goats in there keeping the grass down. Right, that's it from Spike Island prison, Ireland's version of Alcatraz. So I hope you enjoyed that little visit to Spike Island. I was impressed with it, even though it's it's a prison. So like there is nothing glamorous about a prison, is there? But anyway, having said that, yeah, that was the visit to Spike Island. Hope you all keep safe and take care, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye. Stay tuned. Bye. That's Cove out there in the distance.